And Michigan still sucks.
Penn State cornerback Tariq Castro-Fields had a phenomenal game against Michigan, and one of his best plays came on the first drive of the game. Michigan has a 3rd and 1 in Penn State territory, and if they can score on the first drive, it'll go a long way to quieting the crowd. On this play, Michigan is actually in an unbalanced formation. That means to the right of the center is a guard and a tackle and nobody else. Meanwhile, on this side of the field, you have 2 receivers and a tight end. But this tight end is actually not eligible to go downfield for a pass because he's being covered up by the wide receiver. That means this tackle actually is eligible to go out for a pass since he's the last one on that side of the line of scrimmage. But as a quarterback, you probably don't really have to worry about a tackle beating you on a pass route, which means he can come up for run support, which is exactly what he does. Michigan's going to run the ball up the middle, and a hole actually opens up on the right side of the field. Parsons guesses wrong, and he goes to this side of the field, leaving the running back open in the hole one-on-one with Castro-Fields. If he doesn't fill the hole and make the tackle right at the line of scrimmage, that's a first down and maybe even more if the Michigan person breaks a tackle. But Castro-Fields makes an amazing play to force 4th down. Right, so here he is. He's going to come up and fill this hole right there. Let's get another view of that. So this is a great view of the play. A hole is going to open up right here between the center and the guard, but Parsons is going to be caught on the wrong side of the field, which leaves a huge gaping hole that only one person on Penn State can fill. Right there. Boom. Not only did he make the tackle, he made the tackle for no gain, forcing a 4th and 1 that Michigan should have went for, but luckily they punted, and then when you blinked an eye, it was 21-0 Penn State. Here's another fantastic play by Castro-Fields. Now, if you watched my game summary of the Penn State-Maryland game, you might remember that there was a play where Castro-Fields was in a zone. He read the quarterback's eyes, and he actually dropped back deeper than he should have in his zone because he knew the quarterback was going there with the ball, and he got a fantastic interception. Well, this is the same thing, except instead of dropping back in his zone, he attacks it because he sees the screen coming. You can tell Penn State's in zone because Castro-Fields' eyes are in the backfield. He's going to let this receiver run by him. If he was in man-to-man, he would be on him tight and he would be running with him up the field. But because he's in zone, he can pass him off to another person and keep his focus on the backfield. And what's happening in the backfield is that Michigan is setting up a screen pass. Castro-Fields reads that and he attacks it and he jumps right in front of the running back and makes an amazing interception. Right there. That is a great individual effort, but even with the fantastic read, he wouldn't have been in position to make that interception if one other thing would have happened. They say football is a game of inches, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to play it again from the beginning, but this time I want you to focus on the Michigan running back. When he's coming across the field to catch the screen pass, he actually trips over his offensive lineman's foot. If he doesn't stumble, he's actually in good position to catch the ball, and there's no room for Castro-Fields to jump in front of him to get an interception. But because he was one step behind where Shea Patterson thought he was going to be, it leaves just the slightest amount of room for Castro-Fields to get the only turnover of the game. So right here, this is the player that you want to watch. Yep. Just a small stumble, just an inch here or there, completely changes the result of that play. Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons had a career-high 14 tackles against Michigan and was all over the field. And I found one play that I think encompasses what kind of a special player he really is. Parsons is right here, and before the play even starts, he's frantically trying to call out some sort of signal to his teammates. So I want you to just start by watching that. Right here, watch him jump around and then point into the backfield. So what did that mean? I have no idea. But what I can tell you is that somehow Penn State knew this was going to be a running play. Watch what Parsons and Castro-Fields do on this play. Castro-Fields runs right into the background, leaving his receiver completely uncovered. He was not worried at all about Michigan throwing the ball to him. Parsons does the same thing. He runs in, and instead of really trying to cover this receiver, he's actually waiting for him to try and block him, and he's going to try and shed that block. You can see what I mean here. Castro-Fields left his receiver completely uncovered. Meanwhile, Parsons threw his shoulder into his receiver, knowing he was about to be blocked. And now this is the part that shows how great Parsons really is. He already has a guy draped all over him, and then he has not one, but two Michigan linemen that are coming to block him with the running back trailing behind him. And I have no idea how he does it, but he shakes off this blocker and he splits those two linemen and he meets that running back behind the line of scrimmage and tackles him for no gain. We'll watch it all from the beginning. Just keep your eye on Parsons. Sheds the block, splits the lineman, makes an amazing tackle. Here's the play where Penn State scores what ended up being the game-winning touchdown. After the game, Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh said that the defense didn't really get the call on the field on this play, and it's quite clear that that's true. The ball is about to be snapped in 1 second, and you can see that Michigan has three linebackers that are still kind of talking to each other and not lined up. In addition, this safety is just kind of slowly jogging over to the area where Hamler is. And look, there is nobody on KJ Hamler. He's the only person that has really done any damage to Michigan all day, and they have nobody really even covering him. It was an error that couldn't have been more costly for Michigan. I'll play it from the beginning, but I want to point out one more thing about this play. Look at the distance between the Michigan defender and KJ Hamler the moment before they run off the screen. And I want you to see how that distance has changed the next time you see him on the screen when KJ's catching the ball. Look how fast he is! My God! It's almost not even fair. Almost. And finally, we have the 3rd and 3 that iced the game for Penn State. Now, we're going to watch this play a couple of times because I have a bunch of things I want to point out. Okay, the first time around, I want you to focus on Michigan's two middle linebackers. This middle linebacker is going to blitz, but he blitzes on the wrong side. He goes up to the top part of the screen when Penn State is running down to the bottom, and he completely runs himself out of the play. So because this middle linebacker is actually going to blitz to the top side, it's up to this middle linebacker to fill the hole that he leaves on the backside. And he does exactly that. But Penn State's right guard, number 69, is going to pull around. And I want you to watch what he does to this middle linebacker when they meet right at the line of scrimmage. Okay, so this middle linebacker runs himself out of the play. And watch the block that this guard does when he pulls around. He knocked him 5 yards downfield. Now that is how you play football. Okay, let's watch the play again. On 1st and 2nd down, Penn State used Noah Cain to get 7 yards. So you might think they would go to him again to get the final 3 yards to ice the game. But no, they use him as a decoy. They actually hand the ball off to Hamler and have Cain just run over into the flat. When Penn State hands the ball off to Hamler, they're going to pull the tight end around into the hole to be a lead blocker. And both this safety and the outside linebacker have an opportunity to come and fill that hole. But because Cain's going outside, they hesitate ever so slightly. And it's not a lot, but that slight hesitation actually lets the tight end come around and block both of them at the same time. That's right, we're going to have one blocker, and he's going to take care of both of these Michigan players. Just watch. So watch this linebacker and this safety. You're just going to hesitate for a second. There it is. One block, two defenders taken care of. Now you might think after all of that it should have been an easy first down. But nope, there was still one more thing that had to happen. Do you remember earlier in the show when I showed Penn State defensive back Tariq Castro-Fields filling a hole on a Michigan 3rd and 1 and tackling the running back at the line of scrimmage? Well, this Michigan D-bag, wait, did I say D-bag or D-back? It doesn't matter, I'm leaving it in. This Michigan D-back has the opportunity to do the exact same thing. He's going to come fill the hole, and he's going to meet KJ Hamler 1 yard short of the first down. And he's not going up against a big, strong running back like Cain. He's going up against the smallest person on the field. But KJ lowers his head, he bulls him over, and he ices the game on this play. So watch this defensive back come and fill the hole. First down! So you probably already know by now that the first student section whiteout came in 2004 against Purdue, and then it was later made famous in the 2005 game against Ohio State. But did you know that in that same 2004 season, a few games after the Purdue whiteout, Penn State tried a code blue, where instead of having the entire student section wear white, they wore, yep, you guessed it, blue. And look what I found on YouTube. It's the 2004 Penn State Northwestern game where Penn State did the code blue. In 2004, the student section started around the tunnel and it actually wrapped around the stadium till about the 35-yard line. So you're looking at the student section right here. And they are dressed in mostly blue. And it looks kind of cool when you compare it to the white in the S zone. However, look at the rest of the stadium. This wasn't a stadium blue out, it was just supposed to be the student section. The problem is, you can't really tell any difference between the students and the regular fans attending the game. It turns out that a lot of fans wear dark colors too, so there's not an amazing contrast between the two. You can see that for yourself as I let the video play for the next few seconds.
One of the few positive senior captain classmen. He has just been outstanding.
Now contrast that to this. Do you see that? Do you see dark sea of white? So in conclusion, whiteouts, awesome. Code blue, never do that again.
And now, some alternate lyrics to the Michigan fight song, Hail to the...
Oh, no. Absolutely not. We're not going to have that kind of language on this show.
But what if I keep it clean?
Oh, really? You're going to keep it clean?
Yes, I promise.
Well, in that case, let's make this as ridiculous as we possibly can.
Foul, you can't win a big game. Foul, your coach, he is insane. Foul, Michigan would be third place in the West. Foul, you can't cover KJ. Foul, Outback Bowl's on the way. Foul, Michigan would be third place in the West. Fail, first play took a timeout. Fail, you can't win a wideout. Fail, Michigan would be third place in the West. S-T-A-T-E, go State!
Well, not topping that. See you next week.